We are recording now, and I will be hopefully starting the Facebook Live.
This is Richard.
Yes, sir.
There's the shack.
Hey, Pete.
There's the shack. There's the
Hello, Pete.
Hey, Richard.
Hey, Carmen.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hanging in there.
Good. We're trying to.
Hey, David. I see Bill in there. It's FT8 on 20 meters. Rocking and rolling.
Wow.
I actually, one of the hams invited me to their house today, and I got to talk. I got to call CQ on 20 meters and talk to some people on 80 meters.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's my first time working HF. I had a lot of fun.
It's great. Once you get into HF, you'll love it.
That's why I'm studying for my general, and then hopefully I can get find an HF rig on the cheap.
There's plenty of them out there.
Okay, we are streaming live on Facebook now. And Dan is still trying to figure out how to get this going. Okay, we will call the July general meeting for the Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County meeting to order, 7:01 p.m. Thank you everybody for joining us this evening. This is meeting number 82. We have a few things to talk about. A reminder to everyone, this meeting is being recorded and we are streaming to Facebook Live. The Facebook Live feed generally runs anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds behind the Zoom meeting. So I will try to watch for anybody who's making comments on Facebook Live to see if we have anybody watching there. If anyone else is up on the Facebook page, I would definitely appreciate an assist on that.
I'd be happy to do that, Dan.
Okay, thank you, Bill. All right. For our invocation, we got here. Richard, would you lead us in our invocation?
Gracious God, we are truly thankful for the chance to come together over this internet and meet with each other and not put ourselves in jeopardy. We ask that you bless those that are here and those who could not be here. We ask this in Christ's holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Okay, just a quick overview of the agenda for the meeting tonight. We do have some applications for new membership. We'll go through our treasury and previous minutes. We have several updates from old business. Going to walk through our ARR field day activity that was both on site and at home for a few people. And then new business that involves field day and a couple of other items within there. We'll ask if there's any new updates from Pete for Aries. I didn't see Devon join us, so we may or may not have one from Amron. Then we'll review and then we'll be done. I do not have a presentation this evening other than the field day review, so we will maybe a shorter meeting than sometimes when we have presentations. Okay, we'll do really quick introductions. The way I would like to do this is I will just go down the list of participants, ask you to give your name and your call sign. I'll start. Dan, N1 ADM. Next on my list, I have Casper.
Hey, I am KO4 DQI, relatively new member as well, 2.5 months in.
Thank you. Next, I have Richard.
Richard, KR4XN.
Next, I have Pete and Carmen.
Pete, KRMOYQ.
Carmen, K4EQQ.
Okay. Next, I have David.
David, W16WL.
Okay. Next, I have Mike.
Yeah, Mike, AN4WL.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, Mike. Oh boy, the order changes when everybody talks. I'm gonna have fun keeping up with this. Randall.
Randall, KN4FYG.
Thank you, Randall. Robert.
Kilo November 4, Kilo Quebec Juliet.
Okay, thank you. Chuck and Susie.
Okay, Susan, Whiskey Alpha Zero Bravo, and Chuck's stepped out of the room, so he's
Okay. Yeah, I think let's see, make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Stephen.
Hello, Stephen, KN4 RVU. Nice to see everyone.
Okay. Tony.
Tony, KK4WAG.
Okay. Walter.
Walter, W4EFS.
Okay. And I also want to recognize a special guest with us this evening, Thomas. Thomas, go ahead.
Thomas, KO4FFA.
Okay. And he introduced himself to several of us during the pre-meeting time, but he will be talking to us about a very important topic for us a little bit later in the meeting. Did we have anyone check in, Bill, on Facebook? And did I get you, Bill?
No, you didn't. Bill, WK4F, and let's see. We have a young lady by the name of Rachel Jones saying she is a future ham and will be looking to test for her license as soon as she can get a test date.
Okay.
So that's excellent.
And I would love to say I was just waiting to introduce you for the Facebook thing, but they moved around and got me. Did I miss anyone? Because I'm prone to that. Okay, moving on. Well, obviously, we do not have a physical swap table. Someone may have one at their place, I don't know, but we're getting a little light on things on the swap seller or trade page, but there are still a couple of things there for sale. I have 3 membership applications that came to us through the last VE test session. Getting applications has been I don't know, somewhat of a challenge, without having physical meetings, but I'll just go ahead and read quickly out who we have here. So we have Kevin Siegel. Kevin's in Beach Island, is a tech licensee. His interests were public service, areas, and races. So he got his tech license at the VE test session. We have Timothy Willis in Martinez, also gained his tech license there at the meeting. Interest in special events, field day, hamfest, satellite, and contesting. And Joe Walker from Hepzibah, upgraded to a general class license at the VE test session. Interests are HF 2 meter, 6 meter, 10 meter, 70 centimeter, public service, special events, field day, hamfest, satellite, and APRS. The only knock against all these folks is none of them check net control, but we won't hold that against them for this. But do I hear is there any discussion on The membership applications are all entitled to a free year based on earning a license during our VE test session. Do we want to vote them in all together?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion regarding these applicants?
I'll motion to vote them all in one shot.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay. I have a motion from Jim, second from Casper. Are there any opposed? Okay. Hearing no dissent, we will welcome these three to the Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County. So I'm gonna take votes by calling for dissent first, because it's just easier to to hear that. Okay. All right, so I have the treasurer's report here. I was able to actually get it posted up onto the slide this time. So the net income and the expenses are year to date. We're still getting pretty good income from Amazon Smile, so that's pretty good too. But you can kind of see basically the bottom line there is we have $1,365 that is not currently obligated, so that is available to support all of our operations. Is there a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report.
Okay, Pete, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that? Sorry, is that David?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, David. Sorry, I was not watching the screen. All right, are there any opposed to accepting the treasurer's report? Okay. The secretary's report is posted on the website. I can click the link if you want me to scroll through it here, but probably be easier for you to just hit the club page. Basically the minutes from our last meeting. Is there any discussion about the secretary's report? Is there a motion to accept the secretary's report?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. I think I saw Carmen too. So it was Richard and Carmen. Okay. Any opposition to accepting the treasurer's report, or sorry, secretary's report? I have it written down correctly. Okay, man, we're moving right along. All right, so I always put my pitch in for this. We've so far earned over $600 from Amazon Smile from people just buying their goodies. So we get anywhere from every quarter 1 or 2 members worth of dues every time. I've seen it as high as $50 some quarters around times when people are buying heavily. So we have 45 people supporting it. I had the real fun of calling Amazon's technical support a few days ago when I was having trouble accessing the organization account, and that was interesting, fun to work with. But one of the things that they told me is that for some reason people were having trouble finding the name of the club in there. So I marked that down as something to look into. This was established before this board took over, so I'm going to work with Rusty to find out what's going on. I don't want us to miss out on an opportunity for where people want to use Amazon Smile, but they don't because they can't find us on there. All right, upcoming events. Well, pretty much every major Hamfest between now and the end of the year has been canceled, unfortunately. So really no opportunities for in-person major Hamfest. I think there's a couple of small ones here and there that I think there was one up in North Carolina that was potentially looking at going. But I'll point out that coming up on the 8th and 9th is QSA Today Virtual Ham Expo. So that's, I guess, like a big ham fest with lots of speakers, exhibitors, and forums, and the whole deal for 2 days. And we do have our August meeting coming up on the 25th, board meeting on the 6th of September, and then we have a VE test session on the 12th of September. So we are continuing as of right now. I don't know for sure that we will be going back to in-person meetings in August. I kind of have my doubts about it, but I will coordinate with Andy to see what they're thinking there. A couple of months ago, we were thinking that August would be our month to go back, but things have changed a little bit since that time. But I think we're getting a little bit more comfortable with online meetings. So the next thing we want to start adding into our online meetings is to get some presentations in here, and we can do that. I do believe we will be able to do the VE test session there unless something changes. The amount of space we use in place and the density of people is a lot easier to control with a VE test session than it is for a general meeting where we might have 20 people or so. So anyway, that's all of our upcoming events. Any questions there before we move? Okay. The link is in the slide back there, but it'll take you to a page that looks like this that has the schedule for that QSA Today Ham Expo. It looks very interesting. So I will definitely probably try to get in on a few of the discussion and exhibits that they have there. Definitely encourage, be interested to hear discussion about people's experience with doing that afterwards. Okay. Moving on into old business. So the repeater committee has actually met by Zoom a couple of times in the past week to talk about what's going on with the repeater repair and upgrades over at the Bel Air Road site. So just to kind of recap what we already knew, the funds we have reserved, that $3,000 for the tower work. On June 6th, we did some initial site preparation, trenching and getting the interduct. The people that were there will not soon forget that day because it was a nice steamy hot morning with some good hard work in there. 1 5/8 inch and 1 1/4 inch coax has been secured, but what we learned recently is that both pieces of those coax will not fit together in that 4-inch interduct. So that kind of created a little bit of a challenge. But before I go too much further in here, I see that Robert is on here. Robert, do you want to kind of take over the discussion here?
Yeah, I can, Dan. Like I said, we've got the cable. As soon as we get the connectors, Walter and I and David are going to sweep the cable, make sure there's no issues with it. Physically, it looks okay, but we want to make sure that from an RF standpoint, it looks good. Assuming that everything's okay with the 2 cables, we're prepared on August the 15th, based on participation, going back out to the tower and install a second duct so that we can get both those cables pulled over to the tower. We need a lot of participation. We need to start early, and we need as many people as we had last time. We were done by 11 o'clock, I think, in June when we went out there and dug the trench, assuming that as soon as the county water department is located and they give us permission, we'd like to start early on the 15th, if that's agreeable to everybody, and dig a parallel trench. Should be a little easier going this time. We got a couple of false starts last time after we uncovered stuff. So we plan on digging a trench right beside the existing interduct, which should make it a little bit easier, and hopefully we can get gone that August before it gets too hot. After that's done, then we'll be able to contact George Carolina Tire and get them to come out and do their part. Have I forgotten anything, David or Dan?
No, I think you got it all.
Robert, did my audio cut out for a minute in there? Did you mention the need for the 1 1/4 inch connectors, or is that kind of OBE now?
No, I see you've got it listed there. And Dan, I think recalling what we were authorized to do, I think we need club approval to purchase those 2 connectors. Walter, we've got the 1 5/8, am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
And the only thing we'll need is just these 2 1.25 inch. We've got the 7/8 inch. Walter's going to supply it. I'm going to supply the new PVC pipe for the second duct, and I don't think there's anything else we're going to need. Also, we've got a new antenna that's going to be, I think it, Walter, I'm a little bit sketchy on this. I think we're going to use a donated dual band for the UHF. Is that correct? And we've got the VHF we have is in good shape.
Yes, it will be on X510 HD. I believe it's a, excuse me, I forgot, a diamond. That's what it is. It's a diamond.
Right.
So we can use that on the U and the V for the new one. And of course, we can use the current antenna that's on the V. We can use that for when we move the coax. But all we'll do is just connect new coax to it. Now, I've made some arrangements, built a couple of gadgets here where I do not have to put a connector on the coax to check it. I've got a little something that I can plug into it, and literally it's not going to take over 5 minutes to check both of those coaxes. So I don't plan to put any connectors on it at all. And what I'd like to do, Earl's going south, Earl and I are going south tomorrow. And I'd like to stop by if you're going to be around tomorrow sometime, give you a buzz and let us know what our schedule is. We've got a couple of other things to deliver while we're south and swing back through there. And literally all we got to do is plug this thing in and sweep it and check it and see if it's okay. So we're talking about a 5-minute job.
Sounds good. I won't be here after about 4:30, but you don't need me to be here. I can describe to you offline where the cable's at. It's accessible without me being here if I can't be here.
Okay, you're going to be not going to be there after 4:30?
After about 4:30, correct.
Okay, I know we've got to go through, let's see, we got to go down through Rennes, I know. So that's a little ways from you. And I think we got to head somewhere down south of Louisville and then probably swing from Louisville. I don't know, maybe we can hit you early. I don't know. I don't know if Earl has a schedule with someone else down there or not. I think he does. It's a little job we got to do for Jefferson Electric, and he's got the schedule with him, and I don't know when that schedule is.
No problem. Just let me know, and like I say, I can't be here after about 4:30 tomorrow, but other than that, I'm okay.
Okay, well, like I said, this you're going to be surprised and shocked how easy this is going to be with my little gadget.
Well, that's great. You know, that way we don't run the risk of running a connector we may need later on.
Well, if we can get the tower company to put it on, that would be a whole lot better. And
I agree with you, Walter.
And we got new connectors, so I think we shouldn't fool with that. And I know I put those connectors on before, and it's not a lot of fun, but
right.
you know, can be done.
No problem. Dan, I think that's everything that I've got.
Okay, just to kind of recap the project and what the anticipated outcome will be here is that we will have brand new coax going up to both from the VHF and the UHF repeaters, bringing the UHF back online and also getting us off of that coax off of the ladder. So we should secure the future for both the VHF and UHF repeaters, and also gives us an opportunity in the future if we want to do something different with that UHF repeater, maybe digital or something like that. And I think we'll also improve the APRS in the process of this too. So if I captured it correctly, the motion that needs to be made is to approval from the club to purchase two 1 1/4 inch connectors. And David, I think I captured that the price would be roughly $170.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. So is someone willing to put forth a motion to purchase two 1 1/4 inch connectors, let's say within $200?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, that was Robert. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Stephen, that was you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Stephen. Is there any discussion about spending under $200 for two 1 1/4 inch connectors to move the project forward? Okay, we'll call for a vote. Is there are there any opposed to this purchase? Okay, thank you. Just a quick update on the storage. We are.
Hey, Dan.
Yes, go ahead.
I think I understood you correct. You're going to send out a notice asking for a commitment on August the 15th. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, first, now that we know we have everything we need, I'll begin that coordination with the county. We definitely want. Okay. I think we want to secure the county's permission before we start getting club member commitment. But tentatively, the 15th is what we're looking at, unless the county for some reason says that date won't work. But yes, I will push that out as soon as possible.
If you want me to go with you, I'm more than happy to go. Okay.
Okay. I want to have a discussion with Rusty to understand the politics of everything before I roll into it.
Can I ask a question then? Oh, sorry.
Sure, Casper.
Just because I was there when we did the first digging, which one of the runs? We had a run that went shorter, that went to a little junction box. If you stand at the shed, it was on the left. Then we had the other one that kind of gave us a couple of hiccups because one of them had a pipe we had to dig under. Are we laying down another conductor? Are we just needing to dig so we can lay down another coax?
Well, it's going to be, well, I'll let Robert answer, but it is the long one that we're talking about.
Yeah, we're going to have to open that ditch back up that's got the 4-inch air duct in it and lay a second conduit parallel to that one, and it's 90 feet from the control building to the leg of the tower.
Okay. I was just saying we're going to run into that same problem where that pipe is going where we have to route it under, I guess.
That's correct.
Okay, let's start early because it's gotten hotter since we did the last dig.
You're right. Okay, on the storage of property, so just to recap, the club approved storage shed payment through the end of September. So the donation subcommittee has been meeting almost weekly and begun the process of identifying which items will be retained, which is probably mostly going to be just radio kits and maybe a couple of other things. We will have a lot of items that will be sold to put money back into the treasury. For what we're keeping, since we will not have place to store these things, we have had a couple of people who have offered storage space, but what we're going to have to work on is how we will loan equipment and move equipment once that happens. But this is all in process, so I'm kind of hoping that in August we will be kind of reporting what the final solution is there. Unless someone has a motion or a discussion item there, are there any questions or discussion? Okay, moving on to the next item. We definitely need to get a nominations committee together. We got the board of directors election coming up in November. We have to have nominations at the October meeting, and we have to present the slate 2 weeks before the November meeting. So we have August and in September to get this done. So the job of the nominations committee is to contact all the club members to see if people are interested in running in any of the positions. So if we can get a few people who are willing to do that, I would just let the group determine who they want to be their director, I guess, or co-directors for that. Is there anyone who is willing to be a member of the nomination committee? I'm going to pause uncomfortably long. And the board will provide you all the contact information. Generally, the way that we have done it in the past is we make contacts initially by email. We want 100% positive contact. We provide phone numbers and contact information for everyone. But usually you can, with one group email, you can get answers back, and then you just have to hunt a couple of people down. All right, hearing no volunteers, I will harass people individually later.
So can I add something, Dan?
Yes.
I know we only have a small percentage of the club members actually in the meeting, so we probably have to send out a little written encouragement as well. But the reality is, if we want this club to continue, somebody's going to need to step up, and that's that's kind of the way it goes. Each person's got to kind of pay their dues and take a shot at this. So, I urge all of you to consider, you don't have to do a perfect job. You just have to do the job, right? This is the best we can do, the best we can contribute. And this is a very mutually supportive, very friendly club. I got to say, this is one of the best organizations I've ever belonged to. So you get a great deal of support for the count. Nobody's ever hesitated to donate time or money to support it. So please consider volunteering for this and or encouraging folks. I can tell you personally, Dan and I had a conversation. I threw him under the bus and said if he'd take the president, I'd be the vice president. Well, start looking around you at the folks that you'd like to form a coalition with and start pestering them, or you might wind up being president. So just a little food for thought. Feel free to throw your friends under the bus. So that's my 2 cents.
Yep, and this is not as big of a job on the nominations committee as it sounds. I mean, really, 1 or 2 people could do it. Okay, I won't stick on this one. Want to talk a little bit about field day. I think I saw that Randall came in. Yeah, he's there. I don't see Rusty this evening, but we kind of did our field day was challenging this year because of social distancing and all those sorts of things. But we did go back out to Camp Tanglewood for 1 day on Saturday. Unfortunately, I had to miss most of that day. But just to kind of give you, I submitted the score for it, but we operated as a 2 Alpha from Tanglewood on June 27th. I think Randall was 2 when it started. Did it run through like 8 o'clock? Does that sound right? I think there was a thunderstorm at the end.
It was about 7:20. We had to pull everything down because the thunderstorm started rolling in. But yeah, we were meant to operate till at least 8 o'clock, but that thunderstorm made the decision for us.
Okay. Set up there using the club-owned IC7100 and IC7600 radios, 2 stations there. That group managed to get 44 QSOs on 40 meters and 31 on 20 meters. The preliminary score with bonuses and things was 1,090. We did have 3 club members who submitted logs for credit to the ARCCC. So thank you. I had a real fun day on 6 meters that day. We had a nice little opening then, and then Bill also contributed. So when you add up the site score and then the contributors for home, we ended up with 2,270, which is higher than some of our scores have been when we do a 24-hour on-site operation. So well, maybe not higher than those, but I think it's one pretty good recently for our score. So Randall, anything you want to add about field day?
No, I didn't have any feedback that was negative or constructive. So I think it went pretty well. I'm hoping to point the new crew in the right direction and let them have at it.
And I want to give a special thanks to Randall and Rusty as the co-directors and everybody who was on the field day committee and all the participants. We had some guests out there as well, which is maybe we didn't fully anticipate in the, given the situation, but how many did you have attend, Randall?
I think it was 17.
Okay. That's actually pretty good, all things considered. And the facility is turning out to be a good location for events for us too. The kitchen's awesome, even though it didn't really get utilized this time. Any questions or comments from anyone regarding field day? Okay. Just a few pictures that we had in there. I think that's Randall's son bringing in equipment for us. Had some folks out putting stringing antennas in trees, which is always one of the most fun field day activities there is, I think. Picture of the operations going in there. And these are all these are on the website. So it was when I stopped by for a visit in the evening, and they were still going strong in there. And the network even got set up well, so that was kind of cool. Okay. We'll move over to new business. I have some very, very good news to start off with our new business. We have Robert McManus and David Corsilia have both graciously volunteered to be the co-directors for our 2021 field day activity. So they will be seeking out committee members to join that team and build upon all the great work that's been done by field day committees in the past. We actually have a pretty good archive of information from our previous events that will hopefully help them towards success. So there will probably be a communication coming out from the club shortly seeking members to join them for the field day committee. We also, I think I saw that Chris had joined us over on the Facebook Live, but during the Amateur Radio Club of Augusta meeting last week, a proposal was made for ARCCC and ARCA field day committees to work together to see if there would be any interest in pursuing a two-club winter field day operation. So I think there could actually be a lot of merit to that. I mean, I think there's probably about a 50% overlap in club memberships there anyway. So if the club has interest in doing that, it would be up to the field day committee to work out the details of a combined event. Are there any discussion and recommendations from the club about whether we want to pursue this?
A motion that we get in contact with ARCA and pursue the Winter Field Day event as a joint effort.
Okay.
I second that motion, but I am biased since I'm a member of both clubs.
That's great. That would be really good.
Okay. Chris, if you hear me, that was easier than we imagined. Well, before I get too carried away with that, is there any discussion on that from the membership? All right. Are there any opposed to having our field day committee pursue a joint effort with ARCA for winter field day? Okay, that sounds unanimous. I will. Chris will probably hear me if he's still on there, but I will contact Chris to let him know. And David and Robert are on here, so they're aware of this as well. All right. Well, actually, this was one of the biggest topics next that I was hoping to discuss during the meeting this evening. So I invited Thomas Harden, KO4 FFA, to join us. He's reached out to both Amateur Radio Club of Augusta and Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County about assistance with getting an amateur radio club established at Evans High School, where he is a student. He has already done quite a bit of research towards doing that. But I think what I would like to ask from the club on Thomas's behalf is for us to sponsor, support, mentor Elmer, this club that he builds, help the faculty if they need it, and also provide support to the students for standing the club up. So before I say everything about this, Thomas, I'll turn it over to you.
I want to thank you, Dan, for inviting me to join this meeting today. And I'm going to restate some of the stuff I said before the meeting. But I've talked with the school, and the person we need to talk to is Rodney Tyson. He is one of the Evans High School administrators. And what the person on the phone told me was that all the club applicants are filled for this semester. So we need to basically wait until next semester. Send the idea over to Rodney Tyson and have him look at it. And if that gets approved, then it'll get sent to, I guess, the Board of Education for them to approve the club. And I need a teacher sponsor, which I'll be looking for once school starts back up. And I'll let you go from there.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're shouldering some of the toughest part of this is those contacts. I think once I mean, we can help with that too. Once you find the right point of contact, I think that's where we can come in and maybe offer some assurances of support to them. As Cindy mentioned during our pre-meeting discussion, the club can, and Jim, the club can certainly help with getting a teacher or a faculty sponsor licensed, so they understand what they're doing. Maybe we're lucky and there's somebody there with a license already. But the main reason that I wanted to invite Thomas here to talk about this was to kind of secure a commitment from some members of the club that if we're able to gain this traction, and actually, maybe the fact that it has to begin next September actually buys a little time to build the proposal to be very, very strong going in and do some recruiting to help. So I'm looking for discussion from the members of the club on what we can do and how we can help Thomas in his endeavor. I believe this is community. It's building the future of amateur radio. It's kind of like everything this club stands for and would like to do. So I'll turn it over to anybody who wants to jump in.
Thomas, what grade are you in right now?
I'm sorry, Pete?
What grade are you in now? Thomas, what grade are you in now?
Are you asking what radio I use?
No, what grade?
Oh, I couldn't understand. I'm in 10th grade now.
Okay, so we got plenty of time that you'll be there. So you're not a senior stepping out here. So I'll tell you this right now. I will volunteer to help. And my call sign is K1OYQ. And do in any way that we possibly can. So I'm behind you with it, and you can call me if you want. Email me, and I will help out with it. Give you all the assistance you need.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm just really right now I'm trying to figure out everything I need to start the club, and I'm glad that you're offering your assistance.
Yep. And the club, I mean, we can do things like if you get enough, if you get several students who are interested in learning about this but don't have licenses yet, we can set up a licensing course for them. We can set up a license test session for them. We can recommend materials. We can give Pete has done this before, and you know, we can give presentations and demonstrations on things as well. And I think you know, as we move into this, it would be great to you know, once you set it up, to have some type of affiliation between the clubs for support. And we would love to have you know, as students learn things, to even provide presentations to our club about what you're learning and what you're doing. Anyone else?
Can I add a comment?
Sure.
Dan, on the ARRL site, there's actually a link. I think it is called Education Outreach Program, that has different resources to introduce to specifically teachers, to introduce the benefits of ham radio in schools and classrooms. I don't know the details. I haven't read through it. I just came across it a while back when I was browsing through that website there. So that might be a good place to look, Thomas. It is somewhere linked on the ARL. So, someday I'll learn to pronounce it. ARRL.org website. So I would check it out.
Thank you, Casper. Some of that stuff was in the email that I got when they were shooting the idea back and forth. But yeah, I looked at some of that stuff, and it kind of confused me a little bit.
I would pass that information to you.
Yeah, I think you know, one of the things about that, I think most of that information is actually meant for the faculty and teachers that would be would be doing that support. They actually have an institute or something. I can't remember what it's called, but they will have teachers attend in residence some presentations and classes to help them. It's pretty neat stuff they do. I don't know what's happening in the you know, the age of COVID-19, but ARL, I think once you're kind of able to wind your way through, they do offer some things to support. But I believe you'll probably get more locally here of that type of help. Bill, did you? I thought I heard you looking at.
Yeah, Dan, I would offer my assistance as well and be happy to help out. My son just graduated from Evans High School this past spring. So, you know, I'm familiar with the school and, you know, would be more than willing to engage, you know, and help out. So, you know, count me in as well, WK4F.
Okay. All right, anyone else?
Two more things from my end. I know that when Pete came in and worked with me for when we did the academy at the middle school, one of the suggestions from our principal was, you know, push the STEM idea, because they were looking for STEM things, and that was one way to kind of get listed on their club side without going through a lot of hoops. It kind of fit one of the criteria that they already had, so it wasn't necessarily creating a new club. We kind of slid in under another. The other thing would be check 2 places. Your CTAE teachers might have some connections, or your science teachers, as was just pointed out to me. Some of the science clubs are already set up, and there really probably is no reason that you couldn't jump on board with some of them. For example, last year, you know, when Cameron did her project for her biology class that dealt with antennas, I know her instructor talked to her several times about coming in and working with, I think it was their science bowl team, because there was some tie-in. So even though it may not, you may not be able to form a separate club right now, you might be able to slide in there under some other spaces that would get you in and get you started without necessarily starting from scratch. So it just might be an avenue to pursue to get you there a little quicker.
Yeah, I think that if we push more of the STEM, the board would like that more, because I think amateur radio would kind of confuse them a little bit.
Sometimes that's the case. They're not quite sure what it is. They're not quite sure what you do with it. So if you push the fact that it's STEM, and Pete is very good about pointing out all the ways that it's STEM. So that is your focus. That is a catch that will get you some attention and some positivity when they're looking at your proposal.
Yeah. It just kind of hit me as we were having this discussion as we're going through our club property to to potentially divest and reduce our footprint in storage, that we might want to take into consideration what we might be able to donate to a future Evans High School amateur radio club. So I will take that back to the donation subcommittee to see what we might have in there that would be a good fit for that. Radio kits are pretty easy to store. So we can always set that aside, so you have a starter kit when you go, and that I think that accomplishes two things for us. So that's a good deal.
That's a very good point.
Okay, unless anybody else wants to comment on this topic before we move on. Okay, just wanted to comment, the emails have gone out about this, the Bring Your Own Project workshop that we had been planning. We were looking to do it at Camp Tanglewood on the 19th or 26th of September, but the venue is not available on those dates, so we won't be able to do it then. So we either have to find a different venue or a different date. And please stand by just for a moment. Okay, sorry about that. Spouse break there. So we're continuing to work on that. We actually did have several responses to the for people that have projects that they want to bring to this. So I believe we'd be successful. David had offered some additional things that we could do at the workshop. Checking. David, are you still on there?
Yes.
Okay. Can you just kind of fill us in on some additional things we would try to do at this workshop?
Yeah. A couple of us, Rusty and maybe Walter, could bring service monitors. We could check everybody's radios, and we could sort of give a little instruction on what we're doing to test the radios, frequency deviation, power output sensitivity, and that sort of thing. We could also not just check handhelds. If people want to bring in their mobiles or even their base station, we could have a power supply there. We could also go out to their car and with a watt meter and check the antenna, the SWR, and those sort of things. That was what I was thinking about.
Okay. And we had also discussed, potentially a quick demonstration of how to put on coax connectors, or a real quick demo of programming a radio with chirp or something like that for there. But I think, obvious benefit to the people who are working on their project to have some Elmers there to help them with their project, assist, and but I think also people just kind of coming in to watch to see these projects going together, there might be some interest in that. So we're kind of watching what's going on with, using locations and gatherings before we recommit to a specific date, because things don't seem to be going in the right direction at the moment for COVID cases. So just really more of an announcement of where we are with that. Hope there will be some interest in doing that if we're able to establish a firm date.
Yeah, one of the things was we can make up, there's new coax connectors, which are, in my opinion, much better and much easier to install. And we could bring those in with some pieces of coax and demonstrate how easy they are to connect up to the cable.
Okay, thanks, David. Any other new business that I didn't have on the slide that anyone would like to bring up?
Dan, there was a question on the Facebook feed about whether or not there would be an opportunity in the near future for general license study courses or some type of learning opportunity for folks that are looking to upgrade their license.
So I believe the answer to that is we could make that opportunity for folks. And actually, we've had some offline discussions about the possibility of doing some of our licensing courses over Zoom. I believe it could easily be adapted to that format. It's just a matter of keeping the the class size kind of reasonable. I mean, I would want to make sure we have enough people who are interested in taking the course. We already actually have access to the course material, so all they would really need to do is buy a book. And then we can work on gathering instructors. Having it over Zoom kind of takes away the concern about renting out a venue. It takes away the commute to and from the venue. So there's actually a lot of positive about going online with some of the instruction with this, because I think the scheduling can be more flexible on that as well. So the answer is we could.
Okay.
Okay. We went over a lot of committee things, kind of talked about the donations. Richard, anything from chaplain and visitation?
Not that I'm aware of, Dan.
Okay. Field day we covered. We don't really have a fundraising. IT would usually be covered by Rusty. I think we kind of talked mentoring. I will, on behalf of the net control, say additional net controllers are always welcome. I think we've added a couple more in, and it's eased our schedule just a little bit. I already harassed you about nomination committee. I think outreach we covered with talking with Thomas. On the repeater committee, but beyond what we covered, Walter or Robert, is there any other repeater issues?
I have not.
I have not heard of any. No one has contacted me about any issues at all. So as far as I know, everything's working well.
Here's what I will just kind of share an observation. I had the opportunity to stay home today. But my family traveled out of the area last week, so I get to stay home from work for 2 weeks in a preventive quarantine. But got to listen to the radio all day, and I heard Bob, KC4KPN, answer a call over Echolink on our repeater from a guy in Birmingham, England, and they had a QSO that lasted, I don't know, probably about 10 minutes. Very interesting. I mean, it was kind of conducted similar to an HF QSO, but I thought that was really, really cool that you can get on our repeater here in Columbia County. And I've heard guys from Japan on there. I think we had a guy in Australia one time on there as well. So you never know what you might run across with Echolink connected. Okay, VE, we do have that test session scheduled for September. Richard, anything from the trustee side?
No, I think y'all have covered everything that needs to be done on the repeaters.
Okay, thank you, sir. QSL manager uploaded our ARL score, so and uploaded them to Logbook of the World, EQSL, and everything. I think I checked it. We're only like 8 states away from a worked all states from the club, so we should do an operating event to try to target those 8 states and just get that certificate for the club. Any other thing that I might have missed from anyone on a committee, or any questions for any of the committees?
You gotta do it, Aries.
Coming right up. How about that? It was next. Pete, did I get the title right on the slide? I updated the slide. Make sure I got it right.
Columbia County Aries.
Yep.
Yeah.
The floor is yours, sir.
Hey, back in May, we had a drill that was nationwide. And I don't know, I know that David participated, Richard participated, JC did, he's not on here tonight, and several other folks participated in it. And what it was primarily, and we had a lot of folks on 2 meter FM on the 985 machine, the 490 machine, and several other of the repeaters in the area. We started off with a drill in the morning, basically saying that we were setting up for shelters to be established in the area with the EMA and the Red Cross wanted us to man them. And we were asking everybody to check into the net, and they did that. And after that, we went ahead and got everybody to check in. We moved the net from one repeater to another repeater. And we actually moved it to just being straight simplex on David's 75-foot tall antenna that he has up there. And then we moved it finally back to the 985 repeater, which was a good practice because it showed us what we could hit and what we couldn't hit and who we could hear and who we couldn't hear. And then we compiled that information and I sent it in to the Atlanta American Red Cross in the form of a situation report from our area using an ARC 213, which is very similar to an IC13, but we did it digitally. So the first part, the part A of the exercise was FM, and we were voice communications all the way. And in the afternoon, we sent our information digitally over to Atlanta via WinLink. And we compiled all the information, everybody who participated, sent all that to them. They got all that information, and it was a huge success, and it was a national experiment. And it was to demonstrate to the American Red Cross and to other FEMA organizations and so forth that we, as amateur radio operators, can do our job. And we were hugely successful throughout the nation. I think I've forwarded a lot of that on to different folks. Well, come August 8th, they're doing something very, very similar. I will send that information out to Columbia County Aries members. I've sent out some preliminary information, and once again, they're asking us to participate digitally. So out of all that, here's what I want to say to everybody out there. If you're not proficient in digital communications, I have to encourage you to do that. And the main one that you want to get involved with is WinLink and ARDOP, A-R-D-O-P, which is another form of WinLink. That allows us to communicate using digital methods and communicate templates with information on it that are so much faster than using voice communications that it's just unbelievable. But that's got a catch to it. It's if you can get into the station you're trying to work. Both Richard and I and David had some problems trying to link in even over into Atlanta. So it's not faultless, it's not carefree, it requires some effort and so forth. So if you're even halfway interested in digital communications, I strongly recommend that you get into WinLink and figure out how it works in RDOT, because we're going away from WinLink and we're going to RDOT, which is very, very similar. And it's an amateur radio, digital, I'm not sure the whole acronym, but anyway, it's a method of communicating digitally for emergency services, and it's so much faster and so much more accurate that that is where we want to go so that we can communicate nationwide should the opportunity, not the opportunity, but should the crisis arrive where we have to do that. And it's not far from being from real. We got hurricane season coming up, and that's after the time where we have to do that kind of thing. So with that, I just encourage everybody, look up WinLink, see if you can download it, see if you can get your 2-meter rig. It doesn't have to be an HF rig, it can be 2 meters. You can communicate digitally using the repeaters and so forth. So experiment with it. Go out there and try it. Something new, something very valuable for you, and something that
Okay. Yep. And there are a lot of good YouTube videos about WinLink and RDOP. Basically, you put in your radio and RDOP, you will probably find a video of someone walking you through how to set it up to work. And that was interesting about be kind of interesting to set up a local simplex on 2-meter to push some of these comms around to see how that would work out. Okay, thanks, Pete. Good update. Aries is staying busy. Okay, I know that Devon did not join us this evening. He is moved out to, I think, to Edgefield County, where he doesn't have the best internet yet. I think I'm sure he's working on that. Anyone from Amron? I see Stephen on here. If anyone would like to make any comments on Amron.
Sure, Dan. I'll make a few comments. As you said, Devon has moved out to Edgefield and is doing his best to get back up on the air as soon as possible. But in the meantime, our local Amron group has been carrying on, and you can join our local nets on the 146.985 repeater at 2100 hours on Monday nights. And we are also working on the simplex at 2030 hours. We work a simplex net, and that's on the 146.420 simplex. And so we're still keeping along, and we're passing traffic on a daily basis amongst the network, and that's a cross-country network. And yeah, so if anyone would like to know more about that, you can find out more at the website, www.amron.com.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and volunteer that that both Devon and Stephen can point you in the right direction if you need a local contact on that. It's a good organization. You know, they do a lot of stuff in digital communications, and they're a great resource to learn for those things as well. Stephen, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is all I had pulled together for the club this evening. Are there any other issues or comments or concerns or questions that anyone would like to raise? I'll yield the mic to you. Hey, I see that Chris posted an RDOT overview link into the Facebook page too. Thank you, Chris. Okay, just quick, I'll run through our motions. So we accepted 3 new members in for membership tonight. We accepted the treasurer's report and secretary's report. We agreed to fund the purchase of 2 1¼ inch connectors at a cost of $200 or less. I will get that to Steve if he wasn't on the call already. We agreed to pursue a combined field day as a joint effort, winter field day with the Amateur Radio Club of Augusta. And then we heard from Thomas about the club assisting with establishing an amateur radio club at Evans High School, and both Pete and Bill agreed to work with us to do that. And then August 8th, Pete, is what I captured for the Aries next Aries exercise. And I think that's all I captured. Was there anything that I missed that someone might have heard? I tried to keep good notes as we went. Okay. So we did not really have a presentation per se tonight, other than just kind of some pictures of field day, but we can still do presentations with our online meetings. So if anybody has a presentation that they would like to do during our online meetings, I have a feeling we're going to do it again next month, even though we were looking at moving back, but I'm sort of skeptical that'll happen. If you don't have a presentation you want to do, if there's a presentation you would like to see, give me at least a couple of weeks before the meeting to try to find someone who is an expert and can pull together that presentation. Just send an email to president@arccc.org, and we will work to make that happen for you. Oh, also, I think one of the things I forgot was the question about a general class licensing course, which I will pursue. Okay, unless there's anything else, there's usually just one more motion that we need to do. Is there anybody who would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Pierre does. Pierre says he wants to adjourn.
Okay, but you will proxy his motion, Carmen? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thanks, Sean, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, are there any opposed to adjourning the meeting? Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 8:10 p.m. I will stop the recording, and we'll stop the Facebook Live.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Bye-bye.